Sakura estimating uses a technique to identify a hierarchical order for the description rows of information. So if we look at our bill of quantities in front of us here, we can see that this particular item here, item 5, has a parent 4 to identify as mastic pointing, 3 flexible sheet, 2 it's part of Windows, and it's part of Windows and external doors. So that structure enables us to isolate a particular description using the levels. So we can find that item there, we can use an option called item view, and we can see exactly what goes to make up that particular item. So as we move between these items, we can see that these are going to stay the same. If we were to go down here and maybe look at this painting option here, so we can see painting, it's got a parent of Windows, satin paint, internal timber, girth. These levels throughout the software for identifying trade packages, cost per square meter totals, etc., etc. So the issue is, how do we get those levels correct within the software? If we look at a CITE file, we inherit the levels from the CITE file. So if we can get a CITE file and we can import it, then we can get the levels as we need them. If we're using the build production system and we're bringing in information or we're editing text, we can just edit levels. So there's no problem with editing individual levels. Where we have to put most work in is when we've used an Excel spreadsheet. If we look at an Excel spreadsheet here, commonly we won't have any identifiers for levels. We'll have item references and we'll have descriptions and quantities and rates. But unless it's a Sakura generated file in a certain way, you'll have no reference to levels. We have to have some techniques within the software that enable us to calculate those levels. So if we go and look at this option here, we can see that we've inherited a spreadsheet and we haven't done anything about the levels. So the traditional default for a spreadsheet when we don't know anything is to say measured items, those that have a unit, will be a level 2, everything else will be a level 1. So there's no hierarchy. If we were to use our item reference here, we're going to get the measured works and we're going to get notes. So we need to work out how these are going to work. So we could, that's a level 1, that's a 2, that's a 3, that's a 4, and that's a 5. So straight away we've just manually created a hierarchy just for those levels there. So the option we have here, auto level, enables us to do that without having to visit each row. And we do that by calculating the shape of the job. How many headers does a measured item generally have? So let's scroll down this bill a little. So let's go here and look at some items here. So we could say that there is a measured item and these are the headers that belong to it. And we know here that we want all this to show up a floor. So we know it's starting at 1. So then that's going to be a 2, 3, 4, 5. And if we look at that, we start at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So generally our levels are going to be 5. So by saying that the measured item level, this one here, should be a 5, the system will calculate all the other headers. So these levels here identify which parents each item has, and that enables us to extract that information from the bill by identifying individual items. It enables us to identify individual trade packages and also cost per square meter values for totals. So a very important part of the level process.